name is Shelley. If you've ever been in the dorm that I work in, then you know me. First of all, I want to thank you all for your support and your help. We have something to offer each other because you're teaching me something and I'm teaching you something. The world is just not perfect. When you leave here, when you leave this college, you are expected to be citizens, role model citizens. Stand on your own 2 feet. Your parents want that. That's what they paid for. But I'm sorry to tell you, you're not going to be able to do that. There are no jobs. You know, there are no jobs. It's really scary. You have these beautiful degrees, and all you can do is just look at them. The job market is very, very scary. I'm telling you, it is really scary. First one hired, first one fired. Okay? You guys just have no idea. I'm gonna say, I have a son in college as well. Okay? I'm feeling your pain. I see it every day. So can you imagine what pain it is that your parents are going through? With money, it's everyday struggle. And when you go and get a job, and the first thing he asks you is, do you have any experience? Hello? I just finished college. Well, I'm sorry, but you're over-experienced. But you have no experience, but you had too much experience. That means you're too smart. You can go and get a job trying to do something of just working in a fast food restaurant or a restaurant period, just to say, trying to make some money, and you find out that they're taxing everything you get. This job is the lowest, last man on the totem pole, I swear. Some of the pays that we receive is ridiculous. I just can't, I wouldn't want to see my children go through this. But so help me, you guys just pay attention to your world. You're gonna have to struggle. I'm blessed for all of you. You are some beautiful people. And I want to thank everybody for supporting us. And I hope everything that you want comes true. But I know we're getting a raise. I know we're going to win all of us. There is money here. We just got to squeeze it out of a few people. You know what I'm saying? Just got to squeeze it out. They don't want to give up some of their money, but they have to. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. Can we get one more round of applause? Yeah, we have another worker in the audience that wants to say hi to the crowd.
What's up? How's it going? My name is Bill Smith. I'm a housekeeper, and it's rough because as for me, I was decided came back. I supposed came back as full time. They hired me back as part time. I was working 8 hours and cut me to 6, and a lot of people that I work with, we do have to work 2 jobs just to make it because we haven't had a pay raise in so long. And I just thank God for everything that all the students are doing and all the speakers that came out tonight. And I want y'all to have a blessed day.
Hi, my name is Nate Allison, and I am a sophomore at the college. Well, I support the living wage campaign because I want to see a day where no William and Mary worker has to work 2 jobs, sacrifice time spent with their families, and still have to worry about paying the rent at the end of the month. So I believe that the William and Mary community has the power to make it happen, and I personally am willing to fight and persevere until that day comes.
Hi, I'm Remy. I'm a sophomore here at William and Mary. And this campaign is important to me because as a woman of color attending this college where, the workers, particularly that I'm fighting for, are also people of color, I look at this campaign and I feel like the injustices that they're experiencing could possibly have been my own. They could still be my own now that I'm really starting to understand, what is going on here. This is, like you said, this is all connected. So I just wanted to, I feel like it's important that I lend my efforts and my voice to, people who don't have the same opportunities that I have before me, because this is my fight too. So.
William and Mary's commitment to diversity specifically states that we actively demonstrate the commitment to the success of all the community members through our programs, policies, and services. But the reality is that people of color and women at this college make up a majority of the lowest paid workers at William and Mary.
We would like to share with you the story of a worker who served the college for 45 years. To respect her wish to remain anonymous, we will call her Anita. Anita is a woman of color whose family has lived in Williamsburg for over 100 years. Last semester, a few Living Wage Coalition members had the opportunity to interview Anita about her experiences working at the college. The story speaks for itself.
This is Anita's story. I worked at the school for altogether 45 years. When I first started working at the school, I was working a second job and had another job for most of my time. When I started working, there was more help, but we lost help as time went on. They wouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have done that. We have too much to do, working in the heat of the summer with no air conditioning. They still need more people today. People have too much work to do, too many buildings, but they don't get enough money. The pay is terrible. My retirement plan was $100 and some a month after working at the college for 25 years. You cannot buy a loaf of bread with that amount. I couldn't even afford to pay my medical bills after I retired. I went back to work part-time for 20 more years at the college because I needed the money and because I wanted to keep on working. I am 90 years old now. I was born and raised in Williamsburg, right on Richmond Road. I was here at the college when it was barely a college, in just a few buildings. I retired after 25 years of working at the age of 65, and I was making around $6 an hour. After retiring, I was forced to come back to the college and work part-time for 20 more years, and I stopped working just 2 years ago. The reason that I stopped working is because they had to take me to the hospital. I wish I could work now so I could continue to pay my bills.
Anita began working at the school before the school was integrated. Although she saw the changing makeup of the student body over her 45 years at the school, she explained that until the day she left 2 years ago, people of color and women still made up a majority of the lowest paid workers.
2 years ago, at the age of 88, Anita was taken to the hospital by ambulance because she fell over while trying to lift multiple garbage bags on her while working. After this, she was forced to retire, and to this day, she still struggles to pay her medical bills, and her story is not uncommon amongst the workers.
Anita also told us about friends of hers who work for the college whose families have lived in Williamsburg for generations. She explained that her grandparents owned land where the college is today, but were forced to sell the land to the college for little money and were pushed to the outskirts of Williamsburg. To provide a historical context for these stories and for the story that Anita just shared with us, we will now hear from Professor Kimberly Phillips, co-chair of the Limit Project.
Good evening. I not only come as co-chair of the Limit Project, but I also come as president of the Labor and Working Class History Association. which is the largest organization of historians in the United States. And from Seattle, Washington to Portland, Maine today, labor historians are taking to the street with public workers. They are on the radio and they are writing op-ed pieces. And I'm very proud of this organization and proud to be its president. If you go on to our website, lawcha.org, you can hear or read many of these posts. My brothers and sisters who are in struggle together with people in Wisconsin, Iowa, Indiana, Seattle, North Carolina, New Jersey, New York, the catfish workers in Mississippi. We all write history of American workers. I have a book coming out about an unusual group of workers, people who did the work of war, and it is coming out on the University of North Carolina Press. And so I write a different kind of history. I write about people of color who often have not been in unions. So today, we are talking about a group of workers who are actually the children, in many instances, of people who worked at this college, or the grandchildren, or the great-grandchildren of people who worked at this college. And they are not organized. That is not because they haven't desired to be organized. I think one thing that we should say about the current state of affairs of organized labor is that they are working against people who have worked very hard. They have organized themselves to prevent people from organizing. Let that sink into your heads. They have used the power of the state. They have used laws, and they have used weapons. Last night, the Speaker of the House said that organized labor was holding a machine gun to his head. I wept. I wept because he must have been reading John D. Rockefeller, who decided to change the story about Ludlow Massacre when his company literally took machine guns against workers. Anybody who is over the age of 30, and I am, I'm proud to say that, remembers how, agricultural employers not only took machine guns, but took chemical weapons against labor in the fields of California. And I was there. My mother and father took me into the fields to understand what it was like to work in those kinds of conditions. Now, what I want to do is talk about the conditions of labor here at this college that have been deliberately constructed for generations. I want you to look around. And I only want you to look around in this hall, but look around Williamsburg. You see a lot of retirees. The people who work at this college live elsewhere. They can't afford to live in Williamsburg. I am a member of this community. I'm not only a professor here, but I'm a mom. My children go to Bruton High School. Many of the people who work at this college, in the dining halls and in the dorms, who clean my office building, Blair Hall, I know them because our kids play softball together, they swim together, and they play music together. And I walk the halls of Bruton High School at night. I'm a proud president of the Bruton High School marching band, where I've been for 7 years. Many of the workers who work there are also working night jobs at Bruton. And they cannot join me as I take pleasure in watching my children play softball, run track, swim, and play in the orchestra. And so this history is not just a history of people who work here. This is a history of people who work in your community. And I think you need to understand that the college has invested in you, in making sure that you can go here, but not invested in the people who work here. All right? Go into the Huffington Post, go into the Princeton Review. William and Mary came in, I don't know what, number 6 is the best value college? 7. That's nothing to take pride in. That ranking comes because the workers here have not been paid. They have not been given a living wage. We're talking about just putting bread on the table. All right?